Good morning. It is Christmas morning, 7 a.m. in the morning of course, December 25th of 2020. This big container here is popcorn. There's, this is candy, of course, by the way. Sugar-free candy. But this is popcorn. Whoops, there's the camera. There's three different kinds of popcorn in there. Regular popcorn, and the yellow popcorn is, I don't know. And then there's caramel popcorn in there. Oops. Oh, let's see. As you can see, by the way, I'm using Manicam as the camera, or as the thing to record the desktop. And then I'm just running the regular Windows app up here because I can very easily resize it and do stuff like that. Too close, too much. And I gave this a try the other day. You might have noticed that. Okay. I'm sure I'll change the way things I do. Hopefully get better. Not always. Sometimes I go in the wrong direction. In the corner, I finally brought a printer in here, and it's also, will scan. So I'm going to scan a few old photographs, and that will probably give me the idea for a story, or I'll tell you a story anyway. I have a few stories to tell you. Somebody asked about this here. This is a quilt. The chair is fairly new, really new. I think maybe a couple months or something like that. But it wasn't very expensive. But there's not enough padding on the seat, so I should look on Amazon for office chair padding, or office chair support, or maybe I'll just put padding. I'll try that. Office chair cushion. Okay. Oh, okay. Wonder if I need to, let's see. Gel seat, double thick office chair seat cushion with non-slipped breathable honeycomb. Let's see. I don't know about this. I think this would be sort of a hard thing to gel seat cushion for office chair, gel seat for long sitting, cushion pressure. Let's see. Yeah, I have a feeling this would be kind of a hard thing to, something you might want to go to Office Depot or someplace like that and actually sit on one before you purchase it. Yeah, I'll have to think about this. Let me put one of these on my list, so that'll remind me to, wow, 40 bucks. Yeah, here's one that's 18 bucks. I'll put this on my list. and that way it'll remind me to, and then, you know, I can go and come back here and go down and see what the review is. Looks like it's getting good reviews. It's got pretty good reviews. 4 stars, however. Not a lot of products get 5 stars. I'm going to add it to the cart. I'm going to order it here before long. I'll let you know how that goes. So, on my cell phone, this is the page that is amateur radio related stuff. The one at the top is APRS Android. Okay. Here it already goes to the tracking thing. I'm going to just send position report. Okay, that's been sent. Don't know if you can see down there at the bottom. But what I can do, and you can do also, is, let's see, APRS, here it's okay, APRS, okay, well, it already pops up. Otherwise, if you did it, it wouldn't pop up, but then you would put in my call sign up here, and or somebody else's call sign that you know, an amateur radio operator. And you would put in N0UWY there. But here I am on the map, and we can center. I should be already centered, I think, yes. I can click on it. We can zoom. Of course, you can also zoom by just using the mouse and see where I am. This is Fort Worth, Texas. Dollar store down here. Walgreens is over here. Wells Fargo Bank. A lot of apartments around here. Now, since I just on this, now this was my cell phone, but for, let's see, I have 2 amateur radio HTs over there. I don't believe that either one of those do APRS right now. I've had some ham radios that did APRS that would be sending out, and you could even, I could even send out like an email and stuff like that. I'm going to hit start. You know, that was a send position thing. So where am I? Let's see. Let me click on this, and it shows. Oh, okay. I think it's set in Greenwich Mean Time, I believe. Well, anyway, let me just start sending it. So automatically I'm going to start tracking. The time should change on that. Time is 01:20:45 on the thing there. Oh, by the way, so it's sending. I'm doing this with a cell phone, but you do need to be an amateur radio operator to do that. But with the ham radio, well, with the ham radio, you still need to be an amateur radio operator. But on your cell phone, you'll have tracking, and you can do a lot of other things, you know, with this. Okay. See, 6 hours different on Greenwich Mean Time. Okay, well, let's see. Yeah, okay, 1:18 hours in GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. And there you see it, 1:19 here, 01:19. So let's see. Okay, it updated. I don't know if you noticed this. It updated to 1953, and it'll keep doing that. Keep doing that. Let's see. Okay, that's we got sidetracked with that, didn't we? I'm going to. Oh, stop this. Let me stop. There's no reason for me to. Okay, let's see. The things here that are being relayed through, it like gives me the voice frequency that I could contact them on, station history, and also, if you look down here at the bottom, I can hit map here, and we should see okay, well, it does, but it's showing the relay that it went through or something. Let me go back here. Let me hit APRS map. This is what you're looking at on the screen. Okay, this is showing the data. Now, I can see them. I can get the map, but this shows the data. APRS station. So it's actually showing the station that this went through. And where's my stylus? I didn't get my stylus cell phone, but I told you, or in the other video, which you may not have watched, probably didn't watch. Now I can't find it. It's laying someplace around here. But I already had a stylus here. Now this is not a stylus. I'm getting one right after January. Okay, the data. This is. Let me see if I can pull up what this is. Now I guess I have to go over here. Station information. Well, this is not the very same information I'm getting on this, but here I am, N0UWI-10, and it shows you the last pass, how my information got to where it's worldwide or whatever. We don't want to be doing this right now. Whoops. No, I want to go back and stop this from menu. I just installed this a few hours ago, by the way. See if I can get the menu to pop up here. Stop tracking. Okay. There we go. No reason to be sending out. I'm not like I'm going anywhere. This will be the view on the map will be where I will be all the time. Oh, Apple Store. Not Apple Store. Windows Store. Apps for loaning remotely. These are Apple apps from the Apple Store. By the way, I pay for Office. I never really use it. The good thing, I intend to go with an Apple as soon as I can afford it. Then I'll be using Apple apps, but also Windows or Microsoft Office, whatever they want to call it. they will work through, an Apple. Some of these camera apps and video editing software also work. Well, here are the Office. There's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Express, the email program, Microsoft Edge, OneNote. But let's see. Windows 10. Okay, let's just pull up apps for Windows 10. No, that doesn't. Let's see. Show all. Let's do that. Let's see. Wi-Fi direct access point. Live journal. I did do a diary for years and years and years, on paper. And after the divorce, well, for years after that, I also did the diary. And then I had to look some stuff up on it, and then I started reading some of the entries after the divorce or whatever. And I just took and threw the entire thing away. But believe me, there was a few times that it helped. I could look and see when I worked or when I didn't work or what, thing. I could come up with an exact date, and then there usually was an entry in there. I started the diary because my mother, who I called Betty, asked me one time to buy her a yearly, a diary, and I did. And then I always liked stuff from stationery stores too, stuff like that. And so at some point after that, I think maybe the next year, I got one for myself, and then I started keeping. When my mother passed away of Alzheimer's, and I went over after her body was removed at some point, and she had a stack, and I flipped open just to a couple pages on one and looked at some of what she had written, and I didn't look at anything else. I just took all of those and threw all of them away. Probably not a good idea, because something could have come up like, she might have left, we don't have any money, but she might have left a note in there. I put all the diamonds in such and such, or don't throw away the picture of FDR because behind the glass is a $100 bill. I mean, something it was really, dumb, but I just threw everything away, Maybe well, if you're watching my thing I did on DNA the other day, I do have the one marker or the one thing that sort of, if you have the two markers in there, for like Alzheimer's, not good. I just have the one, but, most people don't have, I guess, I don't know, I can't say. I mean, I'm assuming most people don't have one or two markers for it, but a lot of people do, of course. Of course, actually, that marker was for early, I think it was for early, or was a marker for late Alzheimer's. And I'm going to be 80 here in a few months, so touch mail. Earth 3D. like to, well, it's coming close. Could be after January before I get my Motorola stylus or style or marker thing. What do they call it? Okay, let's see. There's Google Maps. That's Fort Worth you're seeing, by the way, too. Oops. Okay, Google Maps here. Here's Wikipedia. Today's feature article. The Chinese, I think this is the Chinese, this one I think it was the Chinese one coming back with the dirt from the moon. All the dirt on the moon. What's going on? Who's sleeping with who on the moon? The One Voice of Christmas involves Aled Jones duetting Christmas carols with his younger self and the late Terry Wogan. What's this about? Let's see. It's a 2016 Christmas album by the Welsh singer Aled Jones and produced by Classic FM. It was created as a follow-up to Jones's One Voice album released earlier in the year and followed a similar style with Jones duetting on Christmas carols and songs with his younger self. That sounds interesting. Okay, I don't. You know, well, it doesn't matter. I will undoubtedly say something on here that I have to demonetize. Most of my videos, I think, are demonetized. But if I clicked on this and there was a few bars of music, somebody would, some one of those automated machines would issue a copyright claim. I think that it should be up to them to prove, anybody who wants to. Now, I think, YouTube should, if YouTube sees that somebody, is ripping people off or whatever, yeah, let them take action. Let them permanently delete the person, whatever they want to do, they can do it. But I think that, if you made any YouTube videos, if you have like a music in the background, I was walking through a mall, the mall music that plays and the thing, and it picked up a few notes of that copyright thing, claim and that kind of stuff. I think it should be the onus should be on the person who claims that's my music. And of course, it's not their music. There are companies that contact all these, anybody who produces anything and says, sign up with us and we'll get you some money. If somebody, and then those companies are, it's sort of like an extortion thing, I think. I think it should be that if somebody claims that somebody on YouTube has, or YouTube could make a thing that they would have to, okay, if there's more than 2 minutes of music, one thing of music, not somebody plays 15 seconds of, if let's say 2 minutes, if there's 2 minutes of music on your thing, you have to when you upload the thing, you have to fill out whose music it is, and there'll be a box to click. This is, because I've had claims I've used, very few times have I done it because it doesn't work. I've paid $150 or $100 or whatever many times for video editors that come with, I didn't buy it for that reason, but that come with, okay, here's music that you can, and tones that you can use, and this kind of stuff here, and you're paying for this, and this is, they throw other items in too, and if I use one of those little things of music that you hear, maybe for a lead in or an exit or something, play credits or something, which you see I don't do. But if you do, immediately somebody claims it as theirs. So I think that the person or the organization that claims it should have to enter proof or whatever, sign a statement under penalty of perjury or something, They should have to take it to a lawyer. Of course, they have a lawyer working in their office, and stamp it, I swear that under penalty of perjury that the music that we are issuing, something like that. That'd be too much for them to, well, not too much for them to do, but I don't want to go too crazy the other direction. It doesn't bother me. Sometimes, mostly, if an organization claims music, well, what YouTube does is they don't take the video down. What they do is just automatically say, you've had a claim, and any revenue from your video will go to these people. And I think most of the time, it doesn't happen very often to me, but most of the time I just delete the video, unless it's something I think really needs to be there. I'll just delete the video. I mean, I could just let them, since I demonetize most of these things anyway, I should just set it up that I demonetize, that you won't see any advertising from me on any of the videos. But please do, though, use the links below, because for the first time, and it looks like it's going to be 3 months in a row, I'm going to be getting a little bit of money from Amazon for those links below. So please, sometimes I have other links below too. Like I had for Wi-Fi, I was using Lemon or Lime or whatever. I was using those people. And I've used different things, but like for the links below, if you can link it, click on them. Okay, this is neat. I wonder, well, I won't do it now because if it plays, but apparently this guy recorded some music earlier in his life, and that he's old, and he does it singing with himself. That's something neat. So, yeah, if you know the link or something like this, let me, or I'll come back later sometime and investigate that. Here's my Amazon photos. Oh, we're going to have, well, the turkey's not thawed out, so we're going to have turkey breast today. So, and then we'll have the turkey when it thaws out, maybe for New Year's. This is Amazon photos. This is me in the hospital when I had my pacemaker put in, my second pacemaker. The original pacemaker lasted 10. Okay, you don't want to see those. Those are my feet. You don't want to see those. Okay. Delete Amazon photos. Here is Google Photos. This is where the cat spit up on the floor. I took a picture, so Darlene would see. Okay, where the hell was this? Hillary and I went someplace. Oh, doctors. Oh, when Darlene was in the hospital last week, Hillary and I took over took over a cell phone to her. Darlene doesn't have a cell phone. Okay. Here's my Google Wi-Fi or Google Fi for the cell phone service. Here's messages. Here's Outlook email. We pay for CBS service. Darlene watches a lot of the game shows, and she doesn't have to catch them live. She can, catch them later on. I watch Young Shelton once a week. And this is Instagram photos and videos. This is Cafe Press. Cafe Press. Ham test online. I need to pay. I paid for that thing. Actually, they have you can study for your amateur radio license using Cafe or using a ham radio license. My subscription expired on 6/27 of 2019. I currently have access only to the free trial questions. I need to go ahead and pay up again. I'm going to get my general class license. I have the technician's license, which, really I don't even use, very rarely, but, tech stuff. Here's Facebook. I don't like Facebook, but I do, my family and friends and some people that I worked with. Okay, I can take this off, I think. No. I'm going to scan some pictures now that I have this scanner in here. Is it trying to load that picture, or is it, looks like it's trying to load it. Anyway, I don't like Facebook, but I just about have to have it because some of my family members and some friends. Here's Twitter. I positively hate Twitter. And you'll see some posts here from me. I don't actually make them myself, but when I post something to YouTube or post some things to other places, automated, it's automatic that it gets posted to Twitter, because that's where some of you dumbasses are. When Twitter first started, all the news medias, the local TV stations and things like that, just went crazy. And I was saying back then, when my blog, that the news media shouldn't pay any attention to, don't monitor them, don't monitor those Twitter sites. I said the only thing, if somebody has a Twitter site and they make threats against the president, or if they say they're going to go blow up a school or something like that, yeah, and if somebody does something like that, yeah, then do go. and look, what's this person, what's their, what's their motivation, what's on their site, that, but not be monitoring all this crap. And then now you see where we've gone. The President of the United States, as of this date, if he's going to fire somebody, he doesn't call a person into the White House and say, I think we've had difficulties, and you seem to have this position, and I have this position, and do you have anything to say? Okay, well, I'm going to have to let you go. The current president, President Trump, he just tweets, I'm firing the head of the FBI. You're fired. Same with the head of the Justice Department, stuff like that. They won't do it, but when Biden takes office for the presidential thing, I don't think he should post anything on that. He should just have somebody has a little office someplace, and if it's Easter and we're having an egg roll or something on the lawn, or if it's Christmas time and we're putting up the Christmas tree, we'll just announce that. And the President of the United States should be making his announcements to the press or from the Oval Office with, I would just, but they won't do it because they see that Trump has used that very well. And they're also afraid, I'm sure, that Trump is going to be saying, oh, look, the President Biden, he only has X number of people reading his Twitter stuff. That should be a good thing, Just imagine governments around the world have to monitor Twitter, the Queen has to, the Queen of, United Kingdom has to have somebody, of course I guess it's Prime Minister, they have to have somebody that's reading the Twitter to see what the President of the United States is going to do. Oh, let's see what, log into Twitter. Oh, okay, he's getting ready to start World War III. I guess we have to, it should be, people should just not be monitoring Twitter for anything other than, I don't know what you monitor Twitter. I don't like Twitter either. I can't think of a good reason for Twitter. Space Force, my God. I hope that when Biden comes into office that he can just, he can if he wants to, but I just hope he comes in and says, we're doing away with Space Force. We never really started with it. And the United States Air Force will be handling that. One reason is we shouldn't, the whole idea in the beginning was we were concerned when Russia put Sputnik, the first Sputnik up, We were concerned, let's demilitarize space. Let's not, let's make it all peaceful. Or at least, maybe we're going to blow each other up here, on the Earth. But in outer space and on the moon and the planets, let that be peaceful. And now we have a space force, and they're going to be, this is what I didn't post it here, but it got posted here. I posted this, on, but, Guardians of Space, I think, but I don't know, that's one of the reasons you need to be very careful when you elect president, Trump raved about his building a wall. He was going to build, I don't know, what was it, 300, 500, 600, whatever, which everybody said, no, he's not going to do that, and he didn't. Actually, basically, they repaired some walls that was already, a set up that needed repair, and maybe he added few miles of new wall up. But the only thing is, he made contracts, the government in his name, made contracts with contractors who probably, weren't even in Texas, New Mexico, or Arizona, or whatever. I mean, some of them were, but there's people who moved, gigantic rigs down there and set up shacks for their office and all that kind of stuff, and started doing and made contracts. It's going to be, you're going to do, I don't know, 50 miles of thing, and it'll be over X number of years to do. And here's how much money you're getting right now, and here's how much we guarantee to keep giving you. And if we cancel this, you still get X amount of money because we canceled it. There's all types of things like that that happen, and you can't have somebody in office who doesn't think everything through. Now, when Biden comes in, I wouldn't be building walls. I'd be tearing walls down. Yeah, definitely. Of course, we need to control who, enters the country, and have rules and regulations or whatever. But, we don't need a Berlin Wall. And the pardons, my God, the pardons that, Trump has done, the 4 private contract people who, I saw some video from that. Those guys, were in their armored vehicle or whatever, driving through through a town in Iraq, and it'd be like a normal town. There's school kids, there's shops along the street, all that kind of stuff. And I think you can even, if I remember correctly, because it might be another incident that I saw, the guys in there are laughing or whatever, and they're just shooting out and blowing cars up and blowing people, men, women, and children up. I mean, and Trump pardoned all 4 of them, all four of those guys. I can see that sometime it would be good to have private contractors, but they should be controlled. Maybe the people who are in charge of those private contractors. Of course, if you make, who paid for them? I think that those guys were protecting embassy officials, I believe. So the Department of State must have had a contract with them. Seems to me like you should have some agency in the United States military should be not contracting for them. But if the Department of State or the Department of Agriculture is sending in some people or whatever, and they're going to be supplying their own security because we don't have enough military people to be doing that kind of stuff or something. But I think that there should be something in the U.S. military, Inspector General's office, I'm not sure what it would be, AG, I'm not sure what it would be, but that the contract would have to be approved, it would have to be scrutinized, the people would have to be vetted, they'd have to be, okay, this company's hiring these 25 security people who are going to be coming into this war zone, and so they would have to be checked by the military and basically, given a permit, to be there and to be doing those kind of duties. And I bet you'd probably find, if you did that some of these private contract people had been in the U.S. military and had been kicked out of the military for some reason, and things like that. But then not only should you be checking them, but then you should have some of your, I'm not sure if it would fall under the military police or if you'd have some other, so these guys are out doing whatever they're doing, and you'd have the U.S. military. Now, if these guys are in a firefight, you don't want to, you don't want to send the military police or CID or whatever into the thing to say, let's see your IDs, and are you using approved ammo, and did you clear this with such and such before you move, you want to wait till the firefight dies down or what. But usually, if they're just out sitting someplace drinking beers or whatever, then the military should show up and say, okay, we need to see all of your IDs. Don't all of you come over together, and gather around as some of you say. We want to check all your IDs, and we need to check all these other things on this checklist to see if you have weapons that you shouldn't be having. Maybe you're allowed to have, but what's this here in the back? Portable nuclear device. No, that's not on the list for you guys to have. That's something we get to have, stuff like that. So that's my 2 cents on that subject. Oh. I read this way too much. I started a few years reading it, and I just sit here and I just spend too much time reading this. "30 questions that stump Christians everywhere." How was actor Jimmy Stewart able to rise from the rank of private to colonel during World War II? He went on to be, I think, a brigadier general, I believe, after, he stayed in the reserve. Yeah, I start reading it. I better get out of here. I start reading them. I can't stop reading them. It's interesting to see what people ask, but it's interesting to see how people, answer them. And I like the things like, what famous person did you meet that you didn't know or was famous, was a celebrity, and that type of stuff. Questions like that. Well, a lot of the questions. I watch Twit TV. Not a. I recommend this to you. Twit. Now the computer guy every Saturday and Sunday is on the radio on a whole bunch of different radio stations, but you can also watch, and because he has he's live streaming it also. And then I like most of their shows, the things that. Recommend that. Twit TV. Maybe it's not called. Yeah, I guess it is. Look up here. Twit.tv. Let's see. Made $39.67. Okay, let's see. Mail.com. I have so many email addresses. Yahoo Mail. I do recommend Grammarly, for word processing, or for not word processing, spell checking. I was going to cancel Microsoft Office. I pay for those programs which I never use, but one of them is Microsoft the email program. Outlook Express, which I think they've renamed, which I used off and on for years and years and years. Sometimes I would, use something else. I'm using something else now. But Grammarly is fantastic. A little bit expensive, but fantastic for doing, and it works in a lot of other, applications. And Microsoft Office, or whatever it's being called now, they keep changing the name. They came up with a editor that sounds exactly like it, and I'm able to use it in some places because I'm a Microsoft Office or whatever they call the damn thing. But it's not, it doesn't, right at this point, it does not measure up at all to Grammarly. And I don't think I'm going to do away with Microsoft Office, however, because Microsoft Office works in Apple, and my desire here is, as soon as I can come up with some money, I'm going to buy an Apple device, and then I could use also the of course, the nice thing with Microsoft is I could go in there and just say, don't charge me anymore for it. And then I could come back a month later, 6 months later, a year later, and just say, I want it again, and just pay, and then bang, everything's back. But KERA is our local NPR station. This link just takes me directly to Twit Live.
A lot of phones. Every time I've used it's very reliable. It's actually on this Surface Duo, the Microsoft thing. It's fast, it's accurate, it's very easy to use. And you see, it's just it really is a little, and Apple showed this in the event, it's a little scanner. And you can put that on the on-off switch, and it works very quickly and well. I think it's just a logical place to put it. What was it, a OnePlus? Something I had that, and I liked it a lot. And the whole thing about the fingerprint through the screen, I know it does, doesn't it? But I think it's still good.
But if it works, it works. Yeah. Like, that's great. I like to hear that there's already products that have success with using it, so that we know, like, it's an existing technology. It's not going to fail every third time necessarily. You know, it's good.
I'm thrilled. I am thrilled. But I am worried about the 11-inch iPad Pro. I mean, I guess it's 150. Somebody in the chat room did the numbers. $150 more for the 11-inch iPad Pro versus the Air. You get additional camera lenses. You get LiDAR, and you get 120 hertz. So there's some benefits, but not many.
They could make sure that the screen size is always going to be an advantage. They could make sure that the top storage is always going to be an advantage. There are ways to differentiate.
Well, the 12.9-inch iPad Pro I could see, right? By the way, this is the iPad Air. That is a lie. You can even see it is not an all-screen design. There's bezels. I definitely see bezels. Am I wrong?
Let's at least actually hold it without buying something accidentally. Can we please?
Okay, you're right. You do need a bezel on a tablet. I agree. But let's not call it an all-screen design.
But bezels are like the smash mouth of industrial design. It's like, what did they ever do to get everybody so mad at it and telling everybody that, oh, this has bezels, it must be a piece of crap? Bezels are fine, they're wonderful.
I know, but when you see them, and you've been using, it's mostly on phones, Andy, but when you see a big bezel, and you've been using bezel, you suddenly go, oh, that's disappointing.
I'll give you that on the Duo. I'll also give you that on the 8th generation iPad, which we'll be talking about later, I'm sure.
Yes.
Because now that does seem a little bit weird to have all that headroom and footroom. But I really do think that having some air, so to speak, between the live screen and the actual display is a good thing.
You need to be able to.
I agree with that 100%. I've been thinking about the let's see, the iPad, the one that's $350 or whatever, that is just about as good as the $600, one. I've been thinking about that. Of course, I think the $350 price is for 65 megabytes or gigabytes. And I definitely would want the 128 megabytes. That's $100, I think, more. And I'm thinking about the Air. And the Air, they have the A14 chip, which the others right now don't. Has a new A14 chip. But then I've been watching a whole bunch of videos about them, and there's a whole bunch of videos on YouTube, which should you get. I can't make up my mind between the $350 one. Well, actually, I would want the extra memory. I'm thinking strongly about the Air.
Amazing. 60 frame per second, 4K, 10-bit with Dolby Vision. Now that's 5 buzzwords in there, but all at the same time. Is that good?
Yes. So your bid definition covers a bunch of different things, and primarily we're looking at dynamic range, and we're talking about dynamic range on all the levels of the bits, right? So one of your fours is your RGBs. One of your fours is the hues, saturation, and luminance, right? One of your fours is based off of depth, color, basically, it's your dynamic range, right? Your shadows and your highlights and things like that.
So
right?
the more bits you store, the more information about the scene you're storing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so therefore you have more ability to, when you go to edit said photo or edit said video, you have more that you're working with. This is why we all love RAW. So when you're shooting in, say, video RAW on any camera, or things like the Blackmagic camera and stuff like that.
Wait a minute. It's still compressed, right? You can't shoot raw video.
For the iPhone, it will be compressed.
It has
if
to
it was
be.
straight raw video.
Is it 444? Yeah, no. You wouldn't have a room for it.
Yeah, that itself, it will burn out. So it is going to probably be in the ATIC Kodak or the XAVC Kodak, which is still somewhat
But these are
compressed.
very good, though.
But
These are good codecs
yes.
now. Yeah.
You watch it all day, every day.
MP5,
You
yeah.
even think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we're beyond the days of squishing something down, or squiz, as my friend Diana would say, squeezing things down to, like the MP3, original MP3 format, and it just sounds like rubbish. I mean, we're at a whole different game and space with compression and things like that now. And the fact that, for the most part, you can take what is the proxy footage out of, a Sony camera, how you can shoot dual mode. You can take the proxy footage, edit it, and throw it up online, and nobody would even notice.
Yes.
Nobody would care.
Yes.
They'd be like, oh, this is great. So,
Yes.
to be able to do this with an iPhone, though, I mean, bro.
I wish I could return my GoPro I just got. the Hero, whatever, 8 black.
You can't. You didn't get it from Costco?
Because honestly, I don't know if I need it anymore. This iPhone, it sounds like, what I was waiting for at the end? They didn't do it, but I was waiting for Apple to say, and by the way, this entire presentation was shot on iPhone. But they didn't do that. No.
That video, and okay, let's get this straight, people. Do not get it twisted. You're not going to get your iPhone home and shoot what they shot there.
Okay.
The number one thing that they have that you do not have. Okay, you can buy an OMA 4, or it's an Osmo Mobile 4. You can buy a movie, Cinema Robot. You can get that balance. You can get all of that covered. But they're bringing 10K light. They're bringing big HDMI light, right? So even the stuff that they shot at night, there's probably some practical light somewhere to give it that extra boost.
Yeah.
But you can do that. Right now, Prime Day, if you don't buy anything and you're into video creation, buy lights. Don't buy anything else. Everything else is not going to help you. Light is boom. Like this light right here that gives me all of this, je ne sais quoi, that's like a $1,500 light. But it's because when you go to stream, it looks good, right?
Yeah.
You can make this old ugly dude look good.
Yeah.
So that and that Boston hat, come on.
I'm really excited. I mean, that's one thing. And I have to say, at this point, with Google kind of, they left the image processing hardware out of the Pixel 5. I feel like they're, in effect, kind of saying, yeah, go ahead, Apple. And you could say, well, what about Samsung? Samsung has a lot of capability, but they are very opinionated about what they do to your photography. And I think unless you like that Samsung look, it is not a natural look. What the iPhone's going to give you is the best, most realistic photos. They're supporting some, by the way, this is some video on the website. There's no point in me streaming it at 720p, highly compressed. Go look at it at the website. If you were able to, if you have an Apple TV 4K and you have a 4K TV, I'm going to go home and watch the event on 4K. Because I think you'll see a lot better.
That's how I watched it.
Yeah.
Because I was working in the living room. I did not anticipate it being as cinematic as it was.
It's
and boy,
gorgeous.
did the photo and video demos really hit home on a 4K 60-inch HDR TV.
It's the first, they say, first camera ever to record in Dolby Vision. That's an HDR format, but playback, it supports all three HDR formats. I don't think any other phone does that. The iPhone 11 was 8-bit HDR. This is 10-bit HDR. Dolby Vision is, stunning.
See, I decided I'm not even getting the Google 3A cell phone that I was talking about getting. I'm getting another, basically one of these, except a stylus one. I'm getting it for $100 from Google Fi. The regular price, is like $200 on Amazon, but yeah, it would be nice, but I'm not going to spend that kind of money, like for an Apple cell phone. But of course, if I start getting into the Apple, I don't want to get into it too, I can see now my Windows 10 computer here. I think I'll keep that. I play Civilization 6 on it, works fine, on it, widescreen. My ham radios, I haven't been doing it, but you can use chip on other services, Linux and whatever, and run the programming. So you can program your ham radio with the frequencies and do all that kind of. You can do that using software. You can do it easily on Windows, 10, and there's other things like that. So I intend to keep my Windows 10 computer, not fancy, but it's doing fine for me. Now, if it blows up or something or other, I probably wouldn't get another. Once I get into the Apple situation, then in that case, well, okay, then I would look at something different and probably go with the Apple. Of course, I'm going to be 80 years old here in a couple of months. Not sure how many years I have left on me, if any. Not sure how many miles I have left on me, if many. But anyway, I do recommend, I'm going to come back. I'm going to leave that there because I want to come back and probably start at the beginning, though. This is from, oh, I see. Yeah. Starting about Thanksgiving through to the new year, Tech TV, he lets his people have time off and that type of stuff, and they pre-record some stuff and they go back and put some old stuff together and do stuff like that. I forgot about that. So this is from 13th of October of 2020, but of course all the shows, so you can go and pick out what you want. But what they're talking about right now is something I'm interested in. I've been watching a bunch of YouTube videos about which entry-level Apple computer to go with, and I can't make up my mind. The one that's the Apple, or the iPad or whatever, that's $350. It has lightning adapter. It uses a lightning adapter. I don't want to use lightning. I want, C, but the C is the $600 one. So there are some things like that. I don't do very much video editing. I do make videos, and they, you have to be sometimes. This won't be really processed. This will just be on stop and uploaded. So anyway, it's 8 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to bring this to a conclusion. If you are, of course, I've watched a ton of, YouTube videos on the Apple line or whatever. If you're somebody who really, that's really into it, and if you watch my videos, you can see what I'm doing. This is basically, not a lot of, I want to do some video editing and some processing and some things like that, but I'm pretty lazy, and I'm really not doing that. So you get a pretty good idea, hey, I've got a brand new, in the closet, chrome box with 16 mine is going blank, 16 gigs of memory, stuff like that. And have an old one that works just fine, that'll work just fine for, they're like brand new. I mean, there's not a smudge on them because I've only used each one a few hours. But I do want to get into Apple. So if you think you know what I really should do, I think it's between the Apple Air because of the A14 chip. And I know it's not fully released. I mean, it's not fully using all of the anyway. Also, anyway, I think it's between an Apple Air with that new chip, which I would love to have, even though I probably don't need it, and the iPad 2020 I think it's the 8th generation, which is like $360. That's with 64 meg of memory, and I would like to have 128 meg of memory. That's an extra $100. And then you get to a certain point where, well, I don't have the money, but still, getting to a certain point where you think, well, for $600, I could get, the deluxe, iPad one. Of course, there's add-ons for that too. It bugs me, of course, that the stylus is so expensive, stuff like that. I mean, it's just, so I really think it's going to have to be the Apple Air or the one that's like the iPad that's like $360. But then, of course, I have to buy the mouse for it. And I'm telling myself, no, I don't need one of their keyboards. Of course, I do have, a wireless keyboard or a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth or whatever that I've never used. So anyway, thank you very much. I welcome your input. Please try to use my links below. For the first time with Amazon, this is going to be, I think, 3 months in a row, actually 2 months coming up. And then I think the next one is going to be 3 months in a row where actually it's a little bit of money. I mean, the maximum of it has been $100, $102, which is what it was last month. And then this month, at the end of the month, I'll get, I think, $62. And then I'm thinking the next month, maybe from looking at the stats, maybe that's going to be another $100 a month. So that's a little bit of money for me. More than I make from YouTube. And as you know, with YouTube, I'm buying stuff all the time. So anyway, thank you very much for watching.